Let's move on to the news.
Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. North and South American. All the ships and clippers at sea. Let's go to press. Come on.
Coronavirus has struck. The CMON Expo that was supposed to be in May in Atlanta has been canceled because of the coronavirus worries and fears. People have a lot of different opinions about this. I just think it's not a bad idea to say, hey, for a little bit, let's err on the side of caution. Nobody wants to, get somebody sick or have a real big problem for a hobby that we love. I think it's a really good choice that they made. I applaud it. There is something that happened on Kickstarter, which you don't see every day. There's a game called Lander. This game has gotten a bunch of press. They've gotten early reviews to people. They've gotten a lot of people in the industry to have played it, to have previewed it, to have done all this sort of stuff. They seem to have done everything right. Yet this week, they pulled their Kickstarter. Paul, do you know why they pulled their Kickstarter?
I don't.
Let me tell you why they pulled their Kickstarter. They pulled their Kickstarter because they set their pledge goal artificially low, and people called them out. If you remember, not too long ago, I made a comment about somebody's Kickstarter, and I was like, "Really, that's your Kickstarter level? You really set it at 50,000, and now it's over 1 million? Really?" The reason for doing this is marketing.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
You put a badge on your Kickstarter saying funded in 30 minutes, funded in the first 24 hours, right?
Yep.
Never 30 minutes, but funded in the first 24 hours is a big draw. People look at that. People are attracted to that. I'm really glad that they pulled this, that they're going to retool and they're going to come back, because I do think there is a disingenuousness to that. There is a gaming the system, and I'm glad they're not doing that, because it looks like an interesting game. It looks like they've been doing the right things, and I can't wait to see this game come back with a proper goal.
Sure, par.
Yeah, exactly, par.
Yeah,
I think if they do that, I think it's going to be a very successful Kickstarter. I do think it will be. When they stopped it, which was, I think, on the very first day, it was already at $19,000 out of a $26,000 goal. So it was just about to kick. So I'm not sure exactly how the pulling of it happened, but I'm glad that it was, and I hope very much that this game comes back and we see it again very soon.
Cool.
Next up, Maharaja. Paul, do you remember playing Maharaja?
I do. It's one of those games that you enjoy a lot.
You don't like it?
It's fine. It's fine.
It's pretty good.
Exactly. It's that tone. It's the tone. Like, oh my God, it's so ...
You just don't get it.
Perhaps. I will accept that.
Look, it's not a perfect game. It's not a perfect game, but it is a very interesting game. It is a game in which we are building temples in India, and there are bigger, better temples and smaller outside temples, and there are costs to move from area to area. And the Maharaja is going to come and inspect these places, very much like Taj Mahal, actually,
Sure.
in terms of the design of the game. The difference here is that in Taj Mahal, the Maharaja will go to space number 1, and then he will go to space number 2, and then he will go to space number 3. In this game, you can take an action. One of your actions in your turn, one of your 2 things you can do in your turn, is change the Maharaja's schedule. Everybody can be building up this whole temple place, and all of a sudden, you know what? Change of plans. Maharaj is going over here now. It's a very, very interesting mechanic. I really like the game. The game was by Wolfgang Kramer, who is fantastic, and Kiesling, actually, Michael Kiesling as well. Kramer and Kiesling have done so many great games over the years, and I think this is one of their hidden gems. It wasn't perfect, but it's a very, very interesting game. Well, guess what? May 2020 on Kickstarter, a new version of Maharaja is going to come out. And do you want to, if that's not selling you enough, this new version has been developed or redeveloped by Simone Luciani.
Luciani. That what? Have we ever heard of that name on this
Do you
podcast?
think? I'm not sure. Have we heard that name? The designer of Barrage and blah, 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 all on down line. Most of our favorite games have, well, not most, but a lot of our absolute favorite games have Simone Luciani in it. And I would love to see how he tweaks Maharaja, because I do think it is one of those games that I understand what you're saying, which is like, I understand you love it, Tom. I get it. I love the things that it does that I don't see in a lot of other games, but it is not perfect. It's a race game, and race games are always a little tricky. They can get imbalanced very quickly. Next up is Pearl Games has announced that they are going to do a reprint of Ginkgopolis.
I've never heard of Ginkgopolis. Tell me about it.
Well, let's see. What can I tell you about Ginkgopolis? It is ranked currently at 383 overall on the Geek. Very popular game. Its weight is about 2.91, so it's a
Lighter.
Yeah, lighter game. It's a there's a bunch of city tiles out. You're going to choose cards from your hand, simultaneous reveals, and you're going to be adding tiles to the game. So it's a tile building game. Pretty thinky though. Pretty thinky. Very sort of interesting game. I've only played it once or twice, but I thought it was a really good game. And currently, if you want to find a copy, it's about $150, $170 for a used copy. It's just monumentally hard to find. Very happy that they are bringing this game back out. Prospero Hall. Last night, Jaws was a huge hit. That is the Prospero Hall design team.
Yep.
I still don't like that they don't name their designers, but we talked about The Shining. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? As of today, The Shining is available in Target. Go to your Target store, take a look at it.
I'm surprised it's not here.
Right?
I'm surprised we didn't play it yesterday.
Right? Kind of. I mean, somebody would have had to teach it.
Yeah.
But The Shining is out. Play it. Let us know. Go to our Facebook page. Go to our Discord group. Tell us what you think about it. This is a mass market game. These guys are crushing it. The reports that I've been hearing about Top Gun have been that it's really, really fun. I'm liking the design strategy of these things. I'm liking the energy of these guys.
I think how should I say in the best way? I think their designs do what I like the most in games is winning is not the primary thing. It's having the fun. And I think they're capitalizing on that, and I cannot support that enough.
I agree with that entirely. I think it's possible that this school of design might bring as many or more people into this hobby as anything else, because they're bridging you in by giving you, Jaws is a hidden movement deduction game.
Yep.
And they're bringing you in. I mean, Top Gun is a air combat strategy game. They're bringing you, they're pulling people that would not normally play that into that sort of space. And if you like that space, you might start seeing other things. I mean, this is another avenue of entry besides Tiddlywinks.
Absolutely. And I guess for me, like, I have a lot of friends who would play board games, but they want to win too much, and they don't like themselves when they have that dead shark eyes effect. And I think like these games have that aspect where you go like, oh, winning is a secondary thing. I might, if you're the shark, you're probably not going to win in Jaws. Maybe you will. Maybe you'll get lucky or whatever. But like, it's not about that. It's like cockroach poker. It's not. Hey, if you want to win, you can win, but you're missing out on the game.
Right. I mean, you bring up cockroach poker because the thing about cockroach poker is you can win the game very easily by not attracting attention and just sitting there.
Yep.
Where is the fun in that?
Where's the game?
Get in there and mix it up. That's right. Speaking of Prospero Hall, there's another very interesting thing to talk about them. The Funkoverse game, Funko Games, is going to be publishing a game called Back to the Future, Back in Time. It is going to be coming out in Q3 of 2020. And it is also by the Prospero Hall design team. If somebody said, hey, the Prospero Hall designed a Back to the Future game, would you like to play it? I'm in the first seat.
Absolutely.
I'm in the first seat. Can't wait to check it out. Really looking forward to seeing what it is. Speaking of things I'm really looking forward to, there is a game called Burger Academy. Burger Academy, Don't know much about it. I have a little bit of art. This is, a lot of this stuff is coming from the Toy Fair, right? The
Sure.
New York Toy Fair 2020 just ended. But I did read this line that said, Burger Academy is a real-time programming game in the vein of Ricochet Robots.
Ding,
And I
ding,
was
ding, 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 ding.
I'm down. I believe what it is in the center of the board, there are all of these little sandwich making pieces or burger making pieces. Like there's little flat pieces of lettuce and cheese and burger and tomato and different cheese and bun and all that sort of stuff. And they're all stacked up in different piles. And a card is going to flip out or something along those lines that specifically wants a very particular burger. And you have to figure out the fastest route to make that stack that way. Which sounds like Ricochet Robots. It sounds like a very different version of Ricochet Robots, but it's like, okay, I'm going to take off the cheese, take off the tomato, move the bun over here, put the lettuce on, and right, and it's like, how many is that? So 14, 15, 16. I think that is genius. I'm all in. Paul, what do you think about Ricochet Robots? We can be honest. We're family.
It was on my top 10, as far as creating memories. It's I think the burger thing will be. I think it should be fun. If it plays as promised, or
Sure.
I think it should be really fun. I think you could play with kids and they go like, "Oh, I'm making a burger,"
Though we never had problems getting kids to play Ricochet Robots.
Absolutely.
As you well know, my brood are brutal.
They are. You've trained them well. You trained them well. No, it's great. I'm excited to see. It's one of those things that I really like about Ricochet Robot, and it seemed like this probably the same thing. Is that you want to play 2 people, you want to play 30 people, go for it. That huge werewolf is probably the only thing that you could do with that variability in player.
Pretty much, yeah. I think that's true. Yeah, there is something about 20 or more people standing around a table, staring down at something, absolutely silent. Everybody just looks like, what are they doing? What is going on there? And then suddenly someone yells out, 14. Everyone else goes, oh, no! Speaking of favorite things, The Crew or Die Crew was a game that we played at, or Trey, I should say. I didn't play it. Trey played at BGG Con, and it was one of the favorite games there. It was one of the favorite games at Essen. They did not have an English language copy of it. That had not come out. I am happy to tell you that this month, this game is coming out. I've ordered it. Have you? The Crew is a card game in which people are trying to work together, and it's sort of a campaign mode. It's got tons of different scenarios in it where the amount of information you're allowed to share with the other people becomes limited in this way or limited in this way, and so on and so forth. Trey had great things to say about it. Everybody, it's one of those games that I haven't talked to a person that didn't love it.
Wow. Okay. Well, there you go. It doesn't seem like it'd be that expensive.
No. There was a component quality issue. The quality of the cards in the German issue, as you well know from Tichu, those cards, even good quality cards, they get abused and they quickly run out. So if your cards are of decent quality but not great quality for a game like this, they're going to wear out super, super fast. And so evidently the version that we have here in America should be good quality cards and should have some staying power.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Tang Garden is going to be a 2020 entry. Francesco Testini and Pierluca Zizi are the designers, and the artist is Matthew Mizak. This is a tile laying game, much like Carcassonne. It's going to have a lot of different scoring methods. Early reviews have been mixed, but I think if you like Carcassonne and you like the art of it, go look at the game. Look at the game and look at what it looks like. It's pretty beautiful, actually. And if that's your style and you don't mind a lighter game like Carcassonne, I like Carcassonne. I haven't played it in a long time, but every time that I have brought it back out and played it. I'm like, God, this is such an elegant design. There really is a lot to think about as you're making this gorgeous map, which is always a pretty cool thing. Speaking of the New York Toy Fair, the 2020 New York Toy Fair is done. It is over. Paul, would you like to know the game of the year at the 2020 New York Toy Fair?
Yes.
It is Pictionary Air.
Wow.
And before you, I know what you're saying. You're saying, oh, come on, guys.
No, you don't. You don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I see your look. Here's the thing. Pictionary Air is like Pictionary, except instead of drawing on a piece of paper, you have a wand, and that wand has a purple light at the end of it. And when you click the button and that purple light is showing, anybody holding a smartphone or holding a iPad or whatever, that sort of thing up, can see what you're drawing in the air. Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of interesting. I think that's a really, really interesting way to play. Now, what I don't know is, can the other team see that as well? Right? Are you?
Oh, sure. I
mean, are they both able to see? Because if only one is able to see, then it's really, really hard for the other team to steal. But it creates a real challenge for the person who is drawing, because you have no point of reference. You can't see what you're drawing. Only your team can see what you're drawing. I gotta say, look, would I have liked a game with more meat on the bones to be the game of the year? Yes. That said, as far as AR technology in gaming goes, I think this is interesting. I think it's pretty cool.
It's a step. Like, you might not know this, Tom, but like one of the reasons why my wife married me was my Pictionary skills.
I do remember that you guys were quite the team.
It was one of those things. I was not a good drawer, and I still am not a good drawer.
You don't have to be a good drawer.
You do not. It's not about that. It's about it's ultimately about communication, and I excel in like brevity.
Yes. No. Strokes per piece of information gained.
That's right. That's right. Exactly.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
So I will always have a soft spot for any form of Pictionary.
Yeah. When I think of telestrations, like my favorite telestration games ever are with people that can really draw, and just watching them just get
crumble.
Our friend Nick is like a crazy good drawer. I never knew it, but he's an amazing drawer, and he had Last of the Mohicans. And I swear to you, 30 seconds later, when the timer goes off, we're passing this thing over. I'm like, oh my God. There were Indians going in a line that gets smaller and smaller as they go out toward infinity.
Sure.
And there are graves all over the place. I don't believe this. Like, with a dry erase marker, you did this in 30 seconds. How did you do this? It was insane. 2020 Geek Madness Tournament. I was remiss in not bringing this up. Tony Aykroyd is a gem on The Geek, and every spring he puts together a sort of contest, a March Madness for the games of this year. And basically, people are going to nominate their top games, not games that come out this year. I just mean their top games and pick which you want. We're going to do brackets and seeding and stuff like that. It might end on the day this podcast comes out, but Tony is a busy guy. There's a good chance it'll keep on going. Check it out. Check out 2020 Geek Madness. It's a geek list, and it's really, really fun. If you've never tried it, you might very much enjoy it. And let's do one last piece of news, my favorite piece of news this week. Vice magazine article talks about a company called Regium, an internet-connected chessboard manufacturer. They were making a Kickstarter where they were making an automated chessboard where you could play chess, and the board would have magnets on the bottom that would move pieces around. So it would play against you, but it would also move those pieces in real time, which, boy, that sounds pretty cool. Well, it just so happens that the writers of chess.com and chess24.com and so on and so forth, they saw something a little funny in the Kickstarter and in the information about this company. They said that they believe that the engineers, quote unquote, that are listed as the company's engineers that are designing this were headshots that were generated using thispersondoesnotexist.com. Do you know what thispersondoesnotexist.com is?
It might be in the name.
It is. It is. So there are these AIs that can make a person out of whole cloth. They design a person, and so you'll have a headshot, face shot of a person that literally doesn't exist. I have done this probably when it first came out, when I first heard about it. I did it about 100 times.
Did you?
Yes. And I would say that of those, I got 15 ones that I look at and like, wow, that's really good. That's perfect. That's fantastic. But there are a few telltale clues that if you're really looking close, you can notice how these guys looked so close and notice this. I have no idea. But they did. Turns out, it appears that of their 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 engineers working on it, only 2 are actual people. So the Kickstarter obviously has come down. The About page on the Regium's website is gone. I think this is fascinating. Like, is it completely a scam? Is it 2 people that are working on something and they felt like it wasn't clear enough? I don't know.
I'm curious why you do that. Like, what's the reward benefit? The cost benefit of it.
I guess they thought they were going to get this money and promise a game, and then probably not be able to deliver it because they're not hiring engineers. They're not putting together a team.
But if you didn't put out your engineers, would the kick? Is the selling of the engineers something you need in order to go? Oh, well, I'm going to buy this now. Does it give it legitimacy that it wouldn't otherwise?
Well, I think if you're talking about moving magnets underneath a board and that go together with a computer thing, I think a design team of 2 might raise red flags. Maybe. This
Kickstarter, people don't really do research on Kickstarter. They go like, "Oh my god, this is a great new thing."
I beg your pardon. Chess.com does. Chess24.com does.
Aside from Chess, I mean, I'm just saying,
okay,
it's one of those things where I go like, this was a needless fail on their part.
Maybe. I'll say this: the chess community is they're tight. Okay,
sure.
They are detail oriented. They focus on the right things. They know what they're doing. They are really, really good. That's absolutely amazing.
When I look at the fake people, I go like, oh, there seems to be a lack of diversity here. There's one woman.
Yep.
And maybe Hispanic-ish, maybe.
Well, this person does not exist.com makes a lot of faces that are somewhat ambiguous.
Sure, I guess. It's one of those things where I go like, if you were going to do this, do it.
You can have anybody.
Exactly.
Have an Inuit. That's it. That's it for the news. I hope you enjoyed that.
Hey, if you enjoyed that video, you very well might enjoy the other videos you now see being suggested to you on screen. Also, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could like, share, or subscribe to our Game Brain channel. Thanks so much.